So chemical bonding is already finished. What are the topics? Molecular bonding theory, molecular orbital theory.
Sir, your
Yeah.
voice is not audible, sir. It's breaking.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello. 1 minute, please. Hello. Hello. So today we are going to start the new topic, that is a redox reactions. So it belongs to the part 2 syllabus in the CBSE book. So have you studied anything about the redox reactions before?
No,
Did
sir.
you study anything about the redox reactions? In the class 10 you will study, right? In the first chapter itself, chemical reaction and equation part. So in that we have the different concepts like balancing the chemical equation, types of chemical reactions, combination reaction, displacement reaction, decomposition reaction, double displacement reaction. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And again, you'll study about the oxidation reduction reactions. Have you studied this part or not in the class 10th chemistry, first chapter? So all this will come under the redox reactions only. Redox reaction is nothing but it's one type of chemical reaction where simultaneous oxidation and reduction will takes place. Okay. So if you say matter, what is a matter first? It is anything that has some mass and occupies some space. So chemistry is nothing but the studying about the various types of matters and how the matter is transforming from one kind to the other kind. So about knowing about these things only, studying is called as in chemistry. So during the change of matter from one form to the other form, there are various types of reactions will be occurred. Okay. So in the transformation of matter from one state to other state or one form to other form by various types of reaction, in that one of the important type of reaction is the redox reactions. Okay, generally redox reactions are usually used in the industries, biological industries or normal metallurgical industries, agriculture areas. And you know combustion process. What is a combustion process? What is a combustion reaction? What is a combustion? Combustion is nothing but whenever the fuel is burning in the presence of oxygen, it will produce the heat energy, right? So burning of the fuels also comes under the redox reactions only. So whenever the fuel like methane will start reacting with the oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide plus water plus heat. So this type of reactions also will come under the redox reactions only. Okay, so burning of the different types of fuels for obtaining energy in the case of commercial purpose, or it can be domestic purpose, or it can be transportation purpose, anything. So all the burning of fuels will also comes under the redox reactions only. And in the case of metallurgical industries, you'll use the redox reaction to reduce the metals. I hope you have studied the reactivity series. Yes or no? How many of you know the reactivity series? Raise your hands in the Zoom meeting. Reactivity series, which we'll use in the displacement reaction or the metals and non-metals chapter. Anjali? Anjali, Disha, Abhinay and Pravalika. No one. Okay, we'll discuss that also reactivity series in this class. So, preparation of chemical compounds like caustic soda or preparation of reduction of any metals, preparation of other chemical compounds, will use the redox reactions only. Okay, this is all about the introduction for the redox reactions. The simple definition for the redox reactions is it is a type of chemical reaction in which both oxidation and reduction will occur simultaneously. What is the redox reaction? It is a chemical reaction in which both oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously in a given chemical reaction. That is called as in redox reactions. Okay, so it is a one type of chemical reaction in which both oxidation and the reduction process will occur simultaneously in a given chemical reaction. That is called as an redox reaction. Okay, now tell me first, what is the oxidation? What is the reduction? Already studied in the class 10th itself. Oxidation and reduction in terms of oxygen and hydrogen. What is oxidation and reduction in terms of oxygen and hydrogen? Oxidation means what? What is meaning of oxidation? Adding of oxygen to the substance, right? Adding of oxygen to an element or compound. That is the oxidation. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me or not?
Yes, sir.
But nobody is responding in the class. What about Anjali, Abhinay and Pravalika? Anjali,
Yes, sir.
are you listening?
Yes, sir.
So oxidation means what? Adding of oxygen to an element
Element or compound.
or the compound. If you take example, is it oxidation process or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
2 mg plus O2 gives us to 2 mgO. I think if you open the class and the textbook, this will be the first diagram will be there, right? In the CBSE, in the first chapter, burning of magnesium ribbon. Whenever the magnesium ribbon is burning in the presence of oxygen, it will produce the magnesium oxide. So in that case, magnesium is undergoing oxidation process. That means adding of adding of oxygen to the magnesium. So it will form magnesium oxide. Or you can take sulfur plus oxygen will give sulfur dioxide. It is also a oxidation. So oxidation means what? Adding of oxygen to an element or the compound. Suppose if we take one more example like methane plus O2 will give CO2 plus H2O. What is happening here? What is happening here? If you take this carbon, with respect to this carbon, oxygen is added, right? Oxygen is added, but one more phenomenon has happened here. Removal of hydrogen. Yes or no? Initially with carbon, hydrogens are there, but in the product case, With carbon, only oxygen is there, not the hydrogen. That means adding of oxygen or the removal of the hydrogen is called as an oxidation. Oxidation means either you can add the oxygen to an element or compound, or you can remove the hydrogen from an element or compound. Okay. That is an oxidation. Oxidation means adding of oxygen to an element or removal of hydrogen from the element. So if you take this example, hydrogen is removing from the carbon atom and the oxygen is adding to the carbon atom. So it undergoes oxidation process. What about in this case? What is happening here with respect to sulfur? Is it undergoing oxidation or reduction?
Sir, reduction.
Reduction. With respect to sulfur.
Oxidation, sir.
So it is oxidation, right?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, what is happening in this example? From the sulfur, hydrogens are removing. So removal of hydrogen also comes under the oxidation only. Understanding? So these are the two examples for the removal of hydrogen and these two are the examples for the adding of oxygen. Okay. And one more term is there. Oxidation is not only about the adding of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. It is also about the adding of, or you can write it down. Oxidation means adding of most electronegative element or removal of electropositive element from a compound or the elements. This is also oxidation. Total 4 are there in terms of hydrogen and oxygen and the electronegative and the electropositive. Oxidation means adding of most electronegative element or removal of electropositive element. Suppose if you take example, magnesium is there plus fluorine is there. So it will form magnesium chloride. That means it is undergoing oxidation or reduction. We're adding the most electronegative element, right? Fluorine is the most electronegative element in the periodic table. Okay. Fluorine is the most electronegative element in the periodic table. So we are adding the most electronegative element to the magnesium, so it undergoes oxidation process only. Similarly, if you add the chlorine, magnesium plus Cl2 will form MgCl2. It is also oxidation only. Similarly, if you add magnesium plus sulfur, it will also form MgS. It is also oxidation. Understanding? Adding of most electronegative element means oxidation. So this is all about the oxidation in terms of hydrogen or oxygen, or you can take electronegative element or the electropositive element. So any doubts in this? Simple thing is oxidation means what? Adding of oxygen to an element or removal of hydrogen from the element. Oxygen is a non-metal, right? That means it is an electronegative. Hydrogen is also a non-metal, but it will be there on the left side of the periodic table. So generally most of the elements left side of the periodic table are electropositive. So from this also you can remember like this. Oxygen will be there on the right side of the periodic table. So right side of the periodic table elements are electronegative elements. So adding of electronegative or the oxygen to an element or compound is called as an oxidation. Or removal of hydrogen or the electropositive element from an element or compound is called as an also oxidation. Any doubts in this?
No, sir, no doubts.
Sir.
So next we'll study about the reduction process. It is exactly opposite to the oxidation. So reduction means what? You have to tell the answer. What is the reduction? What is the reduction?
Sir, removal of oxygen and adding of hydrogen.
Removal of oxygen from an element or compound, or we can say adding of hydrogen from an hydrogen to an element or compound. Okay. If you take example HGO, we will use 2Hg plus O. Or if you take FeCl3 plus H2, we'll use FeCl2 plus 2HCl. So what is happening here? In the first case, HGO is there. If you decompose the HGO, it is forming Hg and O2. That means removal of oxygen is done, right? Removal of oxygen is done in the case of first one. What about the second one? What about the second one? Okay, this one will take as example for different thing. Okay, we'll take one more like organic compound CH2 double bond CH2 plus hydrogen. That means it will form CH3 and CH3. Okay, CH2 double bond CH2 plus hydrogen will form CH3 bond CH3. So adding of hydrogen to the two CH molecules is a oxidation or reduction. Is it oxidation or reduction? Adding of oxygen. That means reduction, right? It is also reduction. Either you can add the hydrogen or remove the oxygen. Here removing of oxygen is done. Here adding of hydrogen done. At the same time, we can write oxide reduction also in terms of electronegative and electropositive also, right? Reduction means adding electropositive element or electronegative element. In the case of reduction in terms of electropositive and electronegative, reduction means what? Adding electropositive element or removing electronegative element. So if you take the example here, if you take FeCl3, whether chlorine is electropositive element or electronegative element. Chlorine is an electropositive element or electronegative element.
Sir, electronegative.
So what is happening in the second example? Whether we are removing the chlorine or adding the chlorine here, removing the most electronegative element, right? So removing one chlorine from the Fe, so it is forming FeCl2. That means it is also reduction. So removing of electronegative element or adding of electropositive element is called as a reduction. Any doubts up to this?
No, sir, no doubts.
Okay, now tell me in this equation part, which one is undergoing oxidation and which one is undergoing reduction process? Now tell me which one is undergoing oxidation in this case.
Sir, H2S.
H2S is oxidizing, right?
Yes, sir.
And one more thing. Always we'll check the oxidation or the reduction only from reactant side to the product side only. Oxidation and reduction. Check only from reactant to product side only. Why? If you take it in the reverse way from product to the reactant, it will become the reduction, right? If you take in the reverse way, same equation part, it will become reduction. That means there is a contrary, right? It is not correct. So that's why we have to check always the oxidation process or the reduction process or the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent that we are going to discuss further. Or always we'll check from the reactant side to the product side only. That's how I mentioned this side to this side arrow. So here H2S undergoing oxidation. And what about the chlorine? What about the chlorine?
Sir, reduction.
Chlorine is reduction because adding of hydrogen to the chlorine, right? So it is a reduction. Next one, Fe3O4 plus aluminum will form Fe plus Al2O3 Anjali, which one is undergoing oxidation and which one is undergoing reduction in this case?
Fe3, 3Fe3O4 is undergoing reduction.
Fe3O4 undergoing reduction or oxidation?
Reduction, sir, because like the oxygen is being reduced and it's been like, and the Al will get like the oxygen, right? So won't it be the 8Al, 8 aluminum is getting oxidized and the 3 iron oxide is getting reduced?
So Fe3O4 in this case it is removing of oxygen is done, right? So there is a reduction.
Yes, sir.
So Fe3O4 reduction and Al undergoes
Oxidization.
oxidation. Fe3O4 undergoes reduction process and Al undergoes oxidation process. So now what is the definition for the redox reaction? This is a reduction and this is a oxidation. Here also this is a, sorry. This is a reduction and this part is the oxidation. So it is a chemical reaction in which both oxidation and reduction is occurring simultaneously, right? Understanding here. So these type of chemical reactions are only called as in redox reactions, where oxidation and reduction will happen simultaneously. Okay. So next one is the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. Oxidizing agent means It helps in oxidizing of other elements or compound and reduce itself. It helps in oxidizing of other elements or compounds and reduce itself. That is the oxidizing agent. Or you can say it gives oxygen to others and remove, sorry. Oxidizing agent means what? It gives oxygen to others and remove hydrogen from others. Simple trick is the same equation part is there, right? H2S plus Cl2. Will produce HCl plus S. H2S plus Cl2 will produce H2S plus, H2S plus Cl2 will produce HCl plus S. This is undergoing oxidation. And this is undergoing reduction. If this undergoing oxidation now, then this will act as a oxidizing agent. This will act as a oxidizing agent. Understanding. If other element is undergoing oxidation, means this Cl2 will act as an oxidizing agent because it helps other substance, other elements or compound to oxidize, and itself it will reduce. Understanding. Or you can say as it gives oxygen to the others or remove the hydrogen from others to oxidize others. So the type of agent is called as an oxidizing agent. Clear? Any doubts in this oxidizing agent?
It's clear, sir.
Oxidizing agent means what? It helps oxidizing of others, elements or compounds and reduce itself. Or it will give oxygen to others and remove hydrogen from the others. Similarly, what is the meaning of reducing agent? What is the meaning of reducing agent? It helps in reduction process of others.
It is like an element that loses an electron.
Okay, in electrons we'll discuss afterwards. After completion of these topics, we'll discuss in terms of electrons.
Okay, so but like it's the one that loses the property.
Yeah. So it helps in reduction process of others. Other elements and oxidize itself. Or in terms of oxygen and hydrogen, what you'll say? It remove oxygen from others and add hydrogen to others. That is a reducing agent. A simple thing is, if this undergoes the reduction now, Cl2 is undergoing reduction now, the remaining one next to the Cl, that will act as a reducing agent. Okay. If Cl is undergoing reduction process in the given equation, then the next one, which is side to the Cl2, will act as a reducing agent. That only will helps the Cl to undergo the reduction. Simple one is, suppose you have the travel agent is there. What they will do, they will book the tickets for others, right? For other people to travel. That's what they're called travel agents. Similarly, your agent also same. Oxidizing agent means they will help in oxidizing other elements, but it will reduce itself. Similarly, reducing agent means it helps in reducing of other elements and oxidize itself. Any confusion in this?
No, sir.
So in this case, what one is the oxidizing agent and what is the reducing agent in this case? H2S plus O2 plus, you let take it down here. H2S plus O2 will form sulfur plus H2O. In this case, which one is undergoing oxidation, which one is undergoing reduction? What is oxidizing agent? What is the reducing agent? Tell me fast.
So 2H2S is oxidizing agent. H2S is oxidizing agent.
H2S is first tell me what is oxidation, what is the reduction in this?
So like H2S is being reduced, so it will be oxidation.
Take H2S, it is reduced, right? Reduced or oxidized? H2S,
So oxidation.
oxidation. That means this undergoes reduction. That means oxidation is what? H2S. Reduction means O2. Then what is the oxidizing agent here? What is the oxidizing agent? What is the oxidizing agent? If this is undergoing oxidation means O2 is the oxidizing agent, right? And this undergoing reduction means H2S is the reducing agent. Any doubts in this part? Anybody has any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
So next we'll study about the oxidation and reduction in terms of electron transfer. Oxidation and reduction in terms of electron transfer. Oxidation means losing of electrons. Reduction means gaining of electrons. Okay, oxidation means losing of electrons and reduction means gaining of electrons. How many of you know the how to calculate the oxidation state for the given element in the compound? How to find the oxidation state for the given element in the compound? How many of you know that process? Suppose if you take example 2Na plus Cl, we'll use 2NaCl. NaCl is ionic compound, right? So it will form Na plus 1 and Cl minus 1. So you can take it as plus 1 here minus 1 in the ionic compound. But how many of you know before this the oxidation number rules or oxidation state, how to find the oxidation state? That when if you know, tell us, or otherwise say no, but don't be silent like this.
Sir, I don't know.
Anjali, Abhinay and Ravalikram. Understand up to what we are discussing till now, oxidation reduction,
Yes, sir. That we understood.
but you don't know about the oxidation number rules. Okay, I will explain to that one after this equation part. Here sodium in the free state it will show 0. Chlorine also in the free state it will show 0. Okay. So moving from 0 to plus 1 here and here 0 to minus 1. So losing of electrons only will form plus charges, right? Losing of electron means formation of cation. Gaining of electron means formation of anions. So sodium is losing the electron, so it is forming Na plus 1. That means it is in oxidation or reduction. Is it oxidation or reduction? Losing of electron means oxidation, and the chlorine gaining the electron to form. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so chlorine is gaining the electron here, so it is in reduction process. So oxidation means losing of electrons and reduction means gaining of electrons. But first you should know how to find out this 0, 0, 1, 1. That is important, okay? So if you take Na plus in the form of O2 will form Na2O. Okay, so in this case Na state is 0, oxygen state also 0. Here it will show +1. Here it will show -1, 2. Now tell me which one is undergoing oxidation and which one is undergoing reduction. Which one is undergoing oxidation and which one is undergoing reduction here? Here sodium is moving from 0 to +1, right? That means losing of electron. That means oxidation. Here oxygen 0 to -2, so it is a reduction. One more small trick is there. Oxidation means, in terms of numbers I'm saying, moving from lower number to higher numbers. Reduction means moving from higher number to lower numbers. So if you take an example here, 0 to +1, that means moving from 0 to +1 is a moving from lower number to higher number only, right? That means it is oxidation. Moving from higher number to lower number means 0 to -1. -1 is lower than 0, right? So it is an reduction. Understanding? In terms of numbers, you can check it in this way. If you're confusing with the gaining of electrons or losing of electrons and all. Is it clear? Here what is happening? Losing of one electron. In the reduction process, gaining of one electron. Here also same. In this case, losing of 2 electrons. In this, gaining of 2 electrons. Any doubts in this equation parts? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, you can take it as a note, this one. So final. Oxidation means what? Loss of electrons. Reduction means gaining of electrons. Oxidizing agent means acceptor of electrons. Reducing agent means donor of electrons. So these are the 4 conclusions you can draw from the oxidation, reduction, oxidizing agent, reducing agent with respect to the electron transfer. Okay. So with this, we're going to